Welcome to our December Board of Education meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pauletta Fryas.
Here.
Scott Latham.
Here.
Thomas Grattan.
Here.
Brian Tobin.
Here.
Thomas Kennedy. In the event of an emergency, visitors are advised that they may exit this room from the one side door which leads directly into the parking lot. In the event of an emergency, everyone is asked to move away from the building and do not attempt to leave in your automobiles, as this may cause traffic problems and block incoming emergency vehicles.
Thank you. The first thing on our agenda is our first hearing of visitors. At this time, we request that questions and comments be kept to agenda items only. Does anyone care to address the board at this time?
We start at the end, right?
Do we have another hearing at the end of the meeting? Okay. That brings us to our consent agenda, which is the approval of our minutes from our regular meeting of November 20th. It also includes our schedule of bills, our treasurer's report for November, our monthly budget status report of November, a couple of transfers, our extra classroom activity fund from November. There's some contracts here for the prom, for Suffolk County flow-through contract, and a transportation contract with William Floyd School District for Suffolk County band students that will be performing in Syracuse in March of 2025. Also included is we are surplusing some refrigerator, some iPads, some iPad cases, and some charging cables. The last thing that the consent agenda includes is the CSEs. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda?
Is that band thing new or just, I don't?
It was, we had two kids qualify for
Oh, okay.
All-State. So it's not new, but we don't have it every year.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wonder what that's to,
Yeah.
okay.
You have to qualify and be invited to be in the All-State,
Can you
performance.
recognize them when they're done?
Yes, we
For being-
recognize them at the
because I-
concerts, but
you know-
absolutely. Yep, can you mark that down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
moved.
Second? Abstentions? No, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That brings us to our superintendent's report already. Yes, Dr. Morrow.
So it's that time of year, busy every night. Winter sports have started. So it's great to see the kids out there playing. Our plays, the high school play was fantastic. I got the chance to come on Friday night and watch it. The concerts were excellent. It was great to see the kids perform. And then I just want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Enjoy your families and the people that you love.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Any old business? No, okay. That brings us to personnel. We have some personnel changes going on here. Leaving the district full-time permanent is Mark Saylor. He's our network and systems technician. His resignation will be effective January 11th, 2025. We've got some Regents review classes held by some teachers, substitute teachers and teachers' aides. We've got our esports advisors, Mr. Barrick and Mrs. Prager, for the winter and the spring esports. We've got some coaching recommendations here for the second team of the junior high girls basketball, Miss Kane. Varsity softball, Miss Kane's replacing Ms. Graziano. Varsity softball assistant coach, Nicole Tejada. And JV softball, I don't know the first name, Ozareski. And then we've got some scorekeepers, elementary after-school activities, and we have some volunteers, Chris Turbush for bowling, Dan Fadoon for basketball, and James Reed for basketball. Are there any questions or comments on the superintendent's personnel recommendations? Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second? Was that you, Tom?
Yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Audit committee report.
Nothing.
Building committee report.
Nothing.
Policy committee report.
Nothing.
Okay, then. Reports. We have a request here for the senior classes planned a trip to the Florida Everglades and the Keys from May 20th through May 23rd. The students will miss 4 days of school. May I have a motion to approve the senior trip to the Florida Everglades and Keys?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Motion carries. New business.
So anybody who reads the paper knows what regionalization is, or doesn't know what regionalization is. It's a big topic in New York State. First, it was something we were mandatory to be part of. Now it's optional. The reality is, they haven't defined fully what it is. There are people that believe it's consolidation of school districts. There's people that believe it's sharing of resources. Until we really find out what it is and the state comes out with a clearer definition of what regionalization is, we're just going to continue to go through the process. We have a checklist they asked us to put together of material, much of which is in their systems, but they wanted us to put it together for them. And then we hope to find out more information as we go through about what it is. Some of what they have talked about, sharing of services, sharing of staff members, sharing of programs, we already do on the East End. It's not common in other parts of Long Island, but on the East End, it's very common for those types of things to happen. So it's really kind of a wait and see. Also, all over the news last week, the Rockefeller Report. It is a report about foundation aid, which is the primary aid that school districts get in New York State. It ranges from a few $100,000 in some districts up to $300 million in other school districts. It is based on your enrollment and your combined wealth ratio and a whole bunch of other factors that they put into this formula. A lot of those things have changed on Long Island with values of homes and different things like that, and they have not changed the formula. They've done what they call hold harmless. So if your enrollment has gone down and you should have lost money, they didn't take it away out of your foundation aid. But now they've commissioned a study to look at the best way to really fund school districts on the island, to fund new initiatives like EV buses. We have an initiative that we're required to do that by a certain time. They cost $500,000 each, and they're not easy for districts to buy, and you have to have a full infrastructure to charge them. So this report delved into a lot of that stuff. It has been picked apart by numerous different people. The governor will take this report, and she will decide what parts of it she chooses to use and what parts of it she chooses to utilize when she comes out with her budget. Once she does, then we will kind of know what direction we're going in with it. There's been no leaning on what will happen with it. The state aid formula for foundation aid, the recommendation was to change it. So we'll see. It's really kind of a bit of a waiting game on both of these. They both will impact school districts all over Long Island. How much they will, it all depends on what they decide to do with it.
Since we start our budget process now, what's Southold's stance on it? What are we looking to
So when we
prepare for none?
So when we start our budget process, we will prepare for a typical aid allocation that we have had in past years, and then we will also prepare for what these new formulas might do, similar to what we did last year. So last year, they talked about cutting our aid. How much, Chuck? Chuck? What was our aid cut originally last year? Do you remember?
600,000, it was quite a bit.
Yeah, it was about $600,000 to $800,000 was the initial aid cut that they projected for us for last year. So we had to prepare two budgets. One with the $1.9 million of aid that we did end up getting. One with 1.2 or 1.3. We'll have to do a very similar thing this year. And it would be nice to be able to just prepare one budget, but we're going to have to prepare two and make decisions on certain things that we're going to be able to do with one or the other. And then when the governor comes out with her budget, in a positive, about 2 weeks ago in one of her press conferences, she made a comment that she was not going to be cutting foundation aid this year, that if they were going to do it, they would phase it in over 5 and there wouldn't be cuts this year. That was a comment in a press conference. I don't know, it certainly wasn't something we can absolutely count on. So the answer is we'll come up with multiple budgets,
And last year, the state budget went over, so it ran into late April,
Yes.
and we didn't have
We will-
an explanation from them about what whether foundation aid was going to be reinstated or cut, and it's just not helpful.
No. There's been, in the 30-something years that I've done this, budgets have come in July. They're required to be in place
April 1st.
April 1.
I think it's April 1st, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would have to enact a budget
Yeah.
that was light by
Rarely are they
$800,000.
they're rarely in place by April 1st. They've come in as late as July and June. That used to be very common when I first started. So you basically are budgeting blind. You're guessing what they're going to give you from last year. They have made, the Rockefeller Institute in their survey and in their study makes recommendations to change the aid formula, which for districts that have lost enrollment like ours, that would impact us adversely. We would lose aid. There are other districts that would lose millions of dollars of aid. Ours would be hundreds of thousands. Yep.
What would be the increase, like, if this does not come through for the tax? Like, what are you looking at, like?
It all depends on, what would our we haven't,
Like, say,
yeah.
if the government does not pass this.
We haven't, we don't start that process till January. Yeah, so we don't have a formula. The budget process in school districts starts in January. And then we would, be able to put out to the community what the increase is and what the levy increase is and all of those things, okay?
And our foundation aid is how much?
Our foundation aid is about 1.9, right?
Total with everything.
Yeah,
It's a big hit.
Foundation's a piece of it.
yeah. It's actually a little lower than that because some of that is reimbursable aid.
Right,
Some of that is
okay.
UPK aid. They count a number of aids into your formula. Like, we get enough UPK aid to have 2 classrooms of 18 kids. That goes into our formula. They say you're getting $400,000 for argument's sake. But if we only have 18 kids in total, like this year, and we only use 200,000 of it, we only get 200,000 of it. So even though in the paper it says we got 4 in our aid package, we don't necessarily get 4, we get what we use. So, the straight foundation aid is 1.3 something, I think. That would be the one that they would either remove completely or partially. Some districts, there were districts that their aid was cut $20 million because of their size. Their foundation aid is significantly larger. They have we have 150, 160 million in foundation aid. So a cut tends to be much deeper. So a lot of unanswered questions, but that is where we're at in New York State right now with everything they've put out. The Rockefeller report is a 315-page report. Anybody would like to read. I have not got to the end of it, but I've gotten to most of the salient points that have to do with our district. It's a lot of information that's coming out. They've been talking about changes for a while, and it seems that they're moving towards them.
How many hours do you think you and the administrators have spent on filling out the required mandated forms for this reorganizational, whatever it is?
So we divvied it all up. I would say probably 10, 12 hours when you total it we divvied it up 5 ways. Chuck did the financial part, and, I did some of the holistic district. Terrence did the high school numbers. Ellen did the elementary numbers. Lisa did many of the special ed and grant numbers. So I'd say probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 hours.
Could have been better spent, I would think. But, thank you. Keep us informed of that, please. This brings us to our second hearing of visitors. At this time, we will entertain comments and questions about agenda items or any kind of school matters in general. If you care to address the board, please come up to the microphone and state your name.
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Zavesky.
Yeah, this would be it.
Hi, my name's John Zavesky. I live in Southold, and I came here the end of last year, I guess, when you were electing new board members, and I had a question about what kind of policies or criteria it was to get someone's legacy, recognized in the school. So, I did get a phone call from the superintendent and athletic director. Came through the school. We had a nice talk. We talked, and I liked their ideas. They showed me the benches. They showed me, what they have going on. And You know, I can't complain if anything for Dylan, you know, is worth it. But my rationale is, I've been told to believe in a lot of things in my life. You know, things and people, thoughts that I've never witnessed, not the trustees' beliefs. You know, when I got this hero a couple years ago, all I knew about him was sports, you know, and talking through people, you know, I learned who coached him, who played with him, you know, to school. I was talking about the teachers that put extra effort in for 4 years to recognize him. And living in this community, you know, I didn't get the answer I wanted. I didn't get the answer I wanted. Maybe because I live in this town, I live in this community, and I don't come from somewhere that has 600 students in a thing. And I haven't seen a kid graduate Southold High School and do what he did the last 4 years of his life. And to me, I think he's honored because you can see by the people here. But I think Southold High School should recognize him. If there's not a policy or there's other people more deserving, not more deserving, but as deserving, I don't think you can run out of spaces on the wall. But there's got to be a reason. I don't know. Like I said, never retreat, never surrender. And, you know, I'll be here each month until I can get an answer why we do not commit people's names or legacies to this high school. And, you know, that's my main objective because, like I said, I knew a third of his life, you know, and then I got to learn. And I'll take it from Officer Creighton when he told me, when I asked him about, he's got his number retired for scoring points in a basketball career and a couple other ones, you know, to recognize for, you know, athletic achievements. And I asked him, and he said, why not? So my question to people up there that can do something, why not? You know, it's a high bar, but, you know, you might as well start at the top. Superman had an S, Dylan had a 5, and I think he should be recognized for it. And I didn't know these people were coming, or I would have took another one of my wife's medication. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool, you know. And I'm just, you know, I don't know. I can't say. I don't need to say anything because everybody knows where I'm coming from. I just think there should be a reason, a rhyme, that number 5 ain't below the American flag at that Southold Gymnasium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, board
Bobby.
members. How you doing, Mr. Fries?
Good, thanks. How are you?
So, I think we all know why we're here today, retiring Dylan's number. Again, I was through the school last week, and Ms. Flag and Ms. Rush kind enough showed me throughout the school, and what you guys have for Dylan so far was 5 rules displayed right in the middle of the hallway, and I think I think it's amazing to show that he's still within our school, and I appreciate you guys for doing it. But more or less, I think we should go and retire the number is the easy answer to all of this. And why I'm saying retired number is because Dylan left the impact on the community, my graduating class before us, and ahead of us. Because we have siblings, I don't have siblings that are still in the school, but we have siblings that I know of that are still within the school district. And retiring number means a lot because, you know, in baseball, if you're going number 0, there's 100 numbers you can choose from. We want to make it 99. There's one less number retire, and that number is number 5. A lot of great baseball players have worn number 5 in the past, and none as great as Dylan, though. Dylan showed courage to get back on that field despite all the treatments he went through. And those treatments could have been the same day, and he could have been back into school, no matter if he was sick or not. And it truly shows a character in a person that you can go right back into a game despite being hurt from a treatment, from a burden of cancer. He was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, which we all know is a very rare form of cancer. And, come back from that isn't easy. I don't have any experience with it, but anybody that has experience with cancer knows it's a hard burden. I had a grandfather had cancer, he recovered, he was in remission, he's fine now, but it's not as lucky for everybody. And unfortunately, in this case, Dylan on September 20th, 2022, passed away and left a legacy behind him that everybody should look up to. In fact, he came back to the school, he wanted to be in the school, and he did everything possible to be back in the school and play the games he loved. Basketball, baseball, even football when we were back in his backyard playing football. It meant so much to him. And again, Todd and Tanya have been absolutely great to myself, Dave, Joe Commons, Cal, if he's here, Dom. Just any of us we've graduated with. Todd and Tanya have been more inviting, and when Dylan was around, it was same way. And I think I am kind of reoccurring, just saying the same stuff, but I think what I can say is we got to retire this number. If we need to create a process, we go and create the process, and we go from there. And let's retire number 5. I have belief in all you board members, Mr. Flanagan, Mr. Rush. You've definitely told me you want to have 5 in this building, and I truly do believe you guys on that. That you guys want to have number 5 in this building and people looking up to them, and I'm keeping your word on it, and I thank you for it. But again, I think we should just retire number 5, and again, process needs to be done. Let's get it done.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Next.
You all know me, okay? You all know me. I'm Dylan's father, and I'm Kelsey's father. 2 years, 2 months, 28 days. Guess what that is? Guess what it is? What is it? How long I've given all of you to do something. Because my daughter wants it. And Dylan deserves it. I'd like to know which one of you don't think he deserves it. Which one? No one's going to speak. I've gotten told it's going to set precedents. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Well, if it sets precedents for a kid that fought like he did to come play on your fields, our fields, and go to chemo that morning and come to the first one at the freaking practice or game and not letting you give him a chance to say, how was your day? Oh, how you doing today? That's Dylan's character. And you know what? You can say the 5 things of Dylan, the scoreboard, whatever. The bench was given by Kate's Angels. Thank you. The scoreboard that was donated by the Frankel family, who owns the Tampa Bay Rays, who actually put this in my head, because the day in which we did the scoreboard, which was awesome, and I'll thank you for that. I will thank you for that. Was awesome. And when a man of that stature who owns a baseball team sits with my daughter and myself and says, when are they retiring his number? You know what? It wasn't even a thought in my head at the time. It wasn't even a thought. And then I'm thinking, you know what? He deserves it. He deserves this. And for anyone to say he doesn't, and to say you did research and talk to other schools, good for you, because so did I. So did I. And of course, I'm the father. No one's going to say something to me because I'm his father. But you know what? Everyone says we've retired numbers in our school for less. For less. For less than what he did. He not only impacted the school, he impacted the community. And this school, I should not come here and be aggravated. This should be my peace. To be honest, this should be my peace. I have no peace coming here because as soon as I walk in here, my blood pressure goes up here because of things that had been said to me. And I'm like, holy crap. Things that had been said to me after a son passes away should never have been said to me because me, I couldn't have done it. I would not say it to anybody who lost a son. Okay? I wouldn't. And I'm looking at the people I'm talking to, just so you know. Okay? And everyone is everyone suffered a loss. Everyone suffered a loss. It's not only my loss, it's his friends, it's his community that lost. Because he was a 10 times better person than me. 10 times. And I'm telling you right now, I know exactly what he's telling me right now. You know what he's telling me? Dad, don't worry about it. Let it go. Because he did not like confrontation. But his dad does. His dad loves it, and he's going to thrive on it now because he's my driving force. He's my driving force. And if I hear the word, it's going to set precedence one more time, I'm going to flip out. Because if, like I said, if that's the precedence for it, then so be it. And I understand you have to look at other students and you have to worry about other students. Let me tell you something, Terrence, I worry about every kid in this school. Every kid in this school. I am not a selfish person, but I'm going to be selfish on this. And this is just the beginning. You can tell me no, you can tell me this, you can tell me that. I'm going to keep fighting until I'm across the street with them. I'm not giving this up. I will not give this up. Because he never gave up on this school, so why should the school?
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I can't see in the back.
Let's see back there. There you go.
I wasn't going to come up and speak tonight, but
See your name?
I was there. Jeff Stanish.
Thanks, Jeff.
I was there from the beginning to end of this young man. And I saw what he fought. And I saw him on the baseball field. I saw him do miracle things that most kids could never do at what he was doing, at what he was going through. You know, to the point that I even had to cut his hair because he was afraid that people would look at his thing on his head. And, you know, and the point is like, this is my son. Well, I'm here today because to fight for the number to be, can't get the word out, but to fight. And the point is, if any of us had the strength that he had, you'd be like, oh my God, like, where did he get this from? Because his strength, we all wish we had. It's not just this community. He brought 5 hamlets. He brought other districts from Riverhead together. You've never seen an outcry of people that donate. My golf outing is that we do for Forever 5. People come from all over the place to recognize him. Him. I don't see where this school cannot recognize that point. And my question is to this. The word has always said, if we do it for this person, we can't do it for another person. First of all, like Zeke said, there's all these numbers. I would hope that Southold, as a community, would do it for any child that went through what he went through. Like, why do we have to say, set a precedent? No, there's not a precedent. We are a community. This is a very small community. I was born and raised, and I was in Greenpost School, but my kids went through Southold School, and I supported Southold through my kids. And every one of you people on the board, I respect 100%. Know you all. I have no beef with any of you. But I just wish you come in your heart. And again, if the question was asked, now, if I asked you, each one of you, now, if I said to Tommy, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Could you all answer that question? Like, can you physically come out and say, why wouldn't you say yes, or why wouldn't you say no? It's always hidden behind the superintendent. And the superintendent for some reason, is the one that is the scapegoat or whatever. But the point is, like, hey, policy is set by school board. Now, you could say whatever you want. Hey, I work for the town. I couldn't just say, Scarborough, I want to do this or whatever. It was set by the school. Even the town board can do something. I mean, the supervisor could say something, but the school board still sets precedent. The town board sets precedent. They set the rule. So my point is, if it's all on his shoulder, why you guys can't get together and just finalize something? Come to a solution. Maybe we can compromise and find something that maybe it can't be retired, but something that will work for all. To the point that we can get together and say, you know what, let's stop fighting. Let's get together and find a compromise that will work for all. Because at the end of the day, yes, would I love it retired? But I have other thought processes also. But I just want this, I don't want to keep coming and making this a fight. This should not ever be a fight. This should be a community coming together and try to make this work for all. Not for just one side or two sides, but you have the power to make it happen if you want. But if you don't want to do it, just come out and say, it's not going to happen. And have a reason why it's not going to happen. Because that's what I'm saying, because it's like you hear this story from this person, you hear that story from that person, but I would want to know, like I was told it's never going to happen. But my point is, if it's never going to happen, make a policy, make a resolution, say this is what we stand by. In the future, we're never going to do this, or you know what I'm trying to say? There's nothing, no one speaks here to say what's going to happen. And I'd like to know what is going to happen. Is it a yes or is it going to no? Because that's what I want to know.
Would you be interested in talking sometime?
Absolutely.
Could I get your number at the end?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And thank you, board, for speaking.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jeff. I can give you his number. Thank you, Jeff.
I can give you a line.
I have yours. We spoke.
Anyone else care to address the board at this time?
I want some of the medication. That's what I want, is what you talked about.
I can tell you some stories about him after the meeting. All good, Zeke.
Always good.
How are you? My name is Evan Ackroyd. I graduated from Southold High School in 2010. My family is from Southold and Mattituck. My mom went to this school. My uncle worked at this school as the audiovisual guy before the lovely Eric Heel. I'm proud to say that I still live in Southold town. I've seen a lot of my friends come and go, and that's hard, but I'm proud to be here. I have my two beautiful children over here that both now go officially to the Southold Elementary School, and I'm incredibly proud of that. I came here to bear witness. I don't have enough of a history and enough information taken in to really know the progressions and how we've gotten to this point. But I felt compelled just sitting back and listening with all the pride that I have being from Southold and this school and the experiences that I've had and the amazing things that my fellow students have done over the years and my experiences in robotics in which gracious professionalism was more important than the actual victory and how you composed yourself and respect and Team Rice's name. You know, there's a lot to be proud of at school. Truthfully, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I'm walking up here right now being aware that this is an issue. And I understand that there are many sides to this, and there's a lot that needs to be taken into consideration, a lot of concern, and I hear the word precedent. And again, I wasn't at all the previous discussions about this, you know, but there's got to be concern for the future and the impact that doing something that hasn't been done or in quite some time, or that there isn't a policy for it. We're concerned about the future, but it also disregards the past. And so as an alumni of Southold, I feel dismissed. I feel embarrassed. I have the pleasure of living across the street from this gentleman and his beautiful wife and his daughter. Never ever would have thought, Jeff Standish is the only reason that I actually had the courage to come up here and stand. I grew up next door to him. That's my second dad. And if he feels compelled to say something, I feel strength and I feel support and the courage to come up here to say something to everybody. And I'm saddened, you know, and I understand that there's way more and many, many hours of discussion as to logistics and reasons why this is a difficult decision to make. But it's a decision worth making. And I would feel the same degree of pride to know that Dylan's memory has been honored and that his number is retired, that I do to be a part of this school. And I'm fortunate that never happened in any of my years being at this school. And had it, I don't know that I would have had the maturity or the strength to come up and say what I'm saying right now, but I'm happy that I am, and I hope that this is a reflection of the community and of the impact that people have, and there's a tremendous impact that you guys could have by making it happen in the appropriate way. So I thank you for your time, and I just wanted to share my feelings.
Thank you, Evan. Afterward, A-C-R-O-Y-D. Evan. Can't believe he's all grown up, man. Anyone else care to address the board?
Kelsey Newman. I had the urge to come up here, actually. You can do it. Got this house.
Just say what you want. Say what you want. It's okay. It's okay. Breathe. Breathe. I'm so angry. I know you're angry, and you have a lot to be angry about. But just be angry with them. Be angry with them. Whatever. There's nothing they can do to you. Just be angry. Say what you gotta say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I had the urge to come up here. I'm Dylan Newman's little sister. So this all started because I wanted this to happen.
Relax.
So
Relax.
you didn't know how much it took for my brother to get on that field at all.
You don't. You really don't. You know, she's touching on something, and I'm going to help her out. She's touching on something that none of you know. None of you know. And I'm looking at the people that this is involving. I'm not looking at these people because these people, most of them know what it took. You know what it took. He was at your house, and we sent chemo to his house, and I'm grateful that you did that. He tried to live a normal life as best as he could. What he did every night, none of you could have done. And then get up the next day, drive with me, tell me, Dad, we got to go early. I got a game this afternoon. We have to get this done. They have to shoot me all this drugs in me so I can get back and play baseball for Southold. None of you know that. None of you. She knows, because he never wanted any of you to know. I got an apology from a coach. I'm sorry, I didn't know Dylan was that bad. Of course you didn't know, because he never wanted you to know. Good. Good.
And you don't know, but there was an actual sleeve guard made for him because of his port for his chemo. We had to design something so he can go play baseball like any normal kid that is sitting here. And that you should be honored that he went on that field to play for you guys. Because if you walk in this school, it's Ray of Dylan. If Dylan didn't come to this school, Southold would not be anything near it was as it is today. Yes, you see the scoreboard. Thankful that it's there because it should be there. It's not in question. And also, you say when is enough is enough. Oh, really? Because now you're just setting off a ticking bomb to me, my dad, and my mom, and everyone who's in here. So enough is not enough because Dylan deserves the world. And I'm sick and tired of hearing all of his side talk about hearing that he might not deserve it. Wow, that's really low, whoever had to say that. I didn't have anything planned, but I didn't have a plan of coming up here, but I did. And also, you see how many people are here. It's not just me and my father and my mom. Whole bunch of people are besides us. And it might be not be a no, but it's not going to end well if it's a no. So this is a fight that I'm going to fight because this is what started it. Because I actually had a meeting with Mr. Flanagan about it. And thankful for the meeting, thank you. But it didn't go the way I wanted. So now it's just a whole big thing that shouldn't be because my brother deserves every single recognition he does. And, you know, there's so many things like, yes, we have the tree, we have the bench, we have the scoreboard, but we didn't ask for that. That was given. And this is the only thing that we're coming forward for that we want to be done. So, this will not be the last time you speak. Well, this won't be the last time you hear from me or my family about this. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelsey. Anyone else?
My name is Tate Clipston. I graduated in the class of 2022 with Dylan and with a lot of other people here. I'm in a boat with a lot of the others in saying that I had not planned to come up here at all, but I've heard a lot tonight about his memory, and that's moved me and a lot of other people. Dylan has been one of my best friends since growing up and getting stronger in that friendship through high school and middle school. And I could tell every single person in this room today with 100% certainty he is the greatest person I've ever met in my life. The most kindest person, the most thoughtful person, the best possible person you could ever wish to know, to be friends with, or to be blessed to be the father, mother, brother, sister to. He's, in my mind, the epitome of what every school should wish a student to be. Someone who is thoughtless about themselves and who cares everything about other people, who would do anything for any other person. And I know everyone behind me in this room can tell you that he would be the first person to try to make someone else feel welcome or just to feel like they belong or happy. And there's nothing in my mind that there's nothing in my mind that someone could be a better person from, and that a school could want someone to be better from. I know who he is because he was one of my best friends. Everyone else in this room knows him because of that and because of their connection with him. But the people 20 years from now should know who he is. I know him because he's the greatest person I've ever met in my life, but I want other people to know why he was the greatest person I've ever met in my life. And everyone's been talking about precedent, but if that's what sets a precedent, then someone who gives everything they have to be the best person they possibly can, to lift everyone up around them and to show the kindness that no one else does, to show them that nothing is impossible and that no matter what you're going through, you could do the one thing you love, then I hope that that person sets a precedent for what others should strive to be. And if that's what we have to do to start a process. I think whatever should be done to honor someone who gave and thought of everyone before himself should be remembered, and that's the least that we could do. And that's all I'd have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Anyone else?
I'm David Okula. I graduated with Dylan in 2022. I'll echo the sentiments of many people that spoke before me. I wasn't planning on coming up here when I came here today, but I did want to make sure that I came out and supported this cause because Dylan really, there's no one that has ever made a greater impact on me than Dylan. Every day I would see this kid and he knew how to put a smile on my face right away. It didn't matter what kind of day I was having. I would see him at baseball practice, and the length that he would go to get to baseball practice, no matter what time it was, if it was before school, if it was after school, he would always make sure that he was doing what he loved, and that was playing baseball. And he could always, no matter what mood I was in, I would talk to him, and I would immediately, it would change my mood because that kid knew how to make everyone around him happy, and he knew how to always be happy, which thinking about that with what he was going through is unbelievable and remarkable. And for Todd and Tanya and Kelsey, like Kelsey said, this is everything that the school has done for Dylan has been great and very appreciative of that. But this is the one thing that they are coming to you guys and they are coming to ask. And I think that, once again, it's the least that we could do for a kid that, look at everyone who came here today. This speaks, this only represents a small portion of what kind of impact he had on this community. But just seeing the amount of people here speaks to that, the impact that he had on the school, on this community, on everyone that encountered him. You want to talk about precedent? If there's ever someone who makes this kind of impact on me, on everyone around him, on this community, on this school, again, the way that Dylan did, then yes, they should be recognized the same way and having their number retired. But I find it hard to believe that anyone could ever make that kind of impact and make that kind of legacy that he had to this school. So for them to come to you guys and ask for his number to be retired, what Dylan deserved to live a normal life, be able to play baseball without having to worry about going to chemo in the morning or dealing with that pain. That's what Dylan deserved. But the least that we can give him now, the least of what he deserves the world, is to have this number retired because it's what his family wants, it's what we want, it's what everyone in this community wants. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Hi, Martha Hansen. I'm coming up here because I graduated from Southold High School, and I've known the Newmans forever. I knew Dylan since he was not even born yet. I went to Southold with Tanya. I'm standing here and I'm kind of perplexed, like, why is this a thing? Because as a parent, which I believe all of you are, if you've ever had your child suffer from anything more than a common cold, it's debilitating. It is debilitating, let alone cancer. And I just lost my mom not too long ago, and I didn't even leave the room when it was the end. If it was my child, I couldn't have gotten out of her bed because I've watched my child suffer. Not to this extent, but it is debilitating. And I'm kind of shocked that, we wouldn't want to show what an amazing role model this kid was. And these people, the Newmans, have done so much for our community with his foundation. Isn't this something that we want to promote and put 5. Everybody drives around the town from Orient to Montauk to Riverhead, and they see 5 and they know what that is. Why isn't Southold taking this an opportunity to shine with that 5? Align that green 5 that's a beacon of hope for these people that, God, if I lost my child, I would be just, I cannot even imagine. I know how broken I was when my mom died. Like, it shocks me to know that I graduated from this place and we're not embracing this. A precedent. I've lost people in this school. I've seen kids in this school die. And if any of them had, so what? We have God forbid, we have a wall of children we need to memorialize. Great, at least we have something that if somebody else, God forbid, has to go through this, they're going to say, well, he fought really hard, so I'm going to try to be like Dylan. I'm just at a loss. And I know you can't tell us what's going on, but I think that we kind of deserve like a little something here. Like these people deserve a little response to their request, because I don't understand. Like, I'm confused. Like, why is this a problem? But that's all. Why? Like, why are we wasting everybody's time when this is just such a nice thing? It's not a bad thing. We're not here like complaining about, I don't know, your policies. Like, we want to do a nice thing, and they've given so much to the school, the scoreboard, the scholarships. How much thousands of dollars have they given your students, like, for their foundation? So I'm just sorry. I'm just confused. That's all. I hope somebody can put some spin on this so I can understand why this is a thing.
Thank you.
No? No answers?
I'll be happy to reach out to you.
I mean, I don't.
Happy to. I've spoken to many people, as have others here. I'll be happy to reach out to
But
you.
is it a secret? Like, why can't we all know? Like,
It's not really a conversation at a Board of Ed that I'd be prepared to have or comfortable having in front of
could
you.
you arrange like another time where we could all come back and you could give us an answer? Because I'm not the only one that deserves some sort of understanding to what's happening here, because it's so confusing to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Doing something.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you. Martha or Margie?
Martha Hanson.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Lucky we're not counting my notes.
I have her cell number. I can get it to you.
Thank you.
Martha, is it okay if I share your cell number with Dr. Morrow? Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff, is it okay if I share your cell number with Dr. Morrow? Okay.
Don't share love.
Never in a million years. Anyone else care to address the board at this time?
Hello, Dawn Gresgorchak. I know most of you. Thank you for giving me the time. I think it's all been said. We've all heard how wonderful Dylan is. You can see by, how packed we are, that, we just love Dylan. He touched all of us. And very simply, and as, as short as I can be, we all love our Newmans. We all love Dylan. The right thing here is to retire his number. And I just beg you to do the right thing. Look at us. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep coming. And I just please ask you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dawn.
I can't spell that.
Anyone else care to address the board? Can't quite see in the back there. No? Anyone else? Okay, do you want to speak to this at all, or should we go to the next? Okay.
I'll reach out to people.
Okay. Now I'm confused where we are. Okay, that brings us to our board member commentary. Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
How's everything?
Good. So last week, annual inspection for ROTC happened on Thursday. And then Interact and Early Act did a Toys for Tots drive. And National Honor Society did their 11th annual gleaning at Wesnosky Farms. And then Ryan Lohr signed his national letter of intent to play lacrosse at Embry-Riddle in Florida. And the cheer team received third place at our Section 11 competition and received our bid Sunday to high school nationals in Florida. And then I just wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays and happy New Year.
Thank you. Congratulations on to you and the cheerleaders on your bid for nationals. Just before we get to the other board members, our next board meeting, the first board meeting of 2025 is January 8th. It's our budget forum and our work session. So if anybody has any budget requests, that's the meeting to come to. January 22nd will be our next regular Board of Education meeting. Scott.
Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I agree with everything that was said about Dylan, absolutely.
Tom.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Yeah, I agree with a lot of things that were said in here tonight. I didn't know Dylan Newman as well as everybody else, but, you know, I've heard a lot of stories, good stories.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to everybody. And like Tom and Scott said, it's an emotional topic, but I agree with everything that's been said tonight.
I want to wish everybody a happy holidays. We love to have people at our board meetings. How many people are usually here, Jordan? 1, 2? Maybe 3, your mom, you know. Under other circumstances, we like to have a lot of people at board meetings and come to speak at board meetings. There's nobody that can dispute anything that was said tonight, you know, so I can't. I agree with everything that was said tonight. I think we all do. There are certain decisions that are made in school districts that are made by administration. There's certain things that are decisions that are made by school boards, and we're board members. So we take everything that you say to heart. We invite you to please come back to board meetings. Please come when you have positive things to share or negative things to share or questions to ask. I do have to say from the bottom of my heart, it's so refreshing to see alumni come back here and speak. I remember so many of you when you were so little. Evan, I can't believe you have like kids. How crazy. I know, how crazy. And wherever you young people end up, get involved in your communities and become town board members and school board members and be the voice, the young voice that we all need to hear. I didn't know Dylan, certainly not like the other board members did, and I consider that a loss on my part because I've never heard anything but a positive word about Dylan. As you know, he's my hero, and you know why. So, enough said. Happy holidays all. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?